Sometimes you cite a paper that has no author, or what we call an anonymous author. That is an author who didn't provide their name. How can you address this situation? You can make it clear by having the first few words of the reference, which is usually the title of the article or the title of the book, for example. Double quotation marks are around the title of an article, a chapter, or a web page, and italicize the title of a periodical, which is a journal's name, a book name, or a brochure or report. It's a little bit hard to get your head around, I think. So what's a general rule of thumb we can use to try to understand this kind of rule, which is actually a very common approach that also MLA follows? And that goes something like this. If you have a big piece of work, like a book, remember that a book will be made up of numerous chapters, right? So you have a chapter number 1, and a chapter number 2, and a chapter number 3. These chapters can have a name. That name should be inside quotation marks when you use it in your reference. Quotation marks for chapter name. The book name, however, should be underlined. Or if you don't need to underline it because you have a computer, which is what most of us use these days. It used to be you underline it on a typewriter. But on a computer, you can use the italic. Remember italic is that it's slanted this way. Italics. Italics, remember, is the same as an underline. Same idea, the same meaning. So what can we do? We can remember this rule quite simply by always taking into account that, are you citing the big thing or the small thing? Are you citing part of something or the whole? If it's part of something, then it goes inside quotation mark. If it's the whole thing, then it's underlined. But remember, if you're using a computer, we don't really use underline much. We can use the italics, so we can make it angled like that. Let's look at an example here. Clear this off. On free care, I have a citation here. Now, this citation is not a person's name. Why? Because the person didn't add a name. I don't have a name. But inside my reference list, I do have a name of the article. That article is part of a journal. So because it's part of something bigger, it's a part of it, so we use the quotation marks. You can also pay attention here and see that the comma is inside the quotation mark. And then after the quotation mark is one space. But before the quotation mark are no spaces. After the comma is no space because we have the quotation mark there. We've gone over this in previous lessons. In this next example, we can see the book, College Bound Seniors, 2008. Again, we should use the author of the book, but we don't have the author. Why? Because it's anonymous, no author. So what do? We go ahead and use the first few words in the reference, which would be the name of the book. And it is a book, so we go ahead and we can italicize it. That is, write it at the angle. That's the same as underlining it. So what does that mean? That means it's a whole book. It's a whole. It's not the piece of something else. If you're writing your citations and you want to cite inside the text, you can also just use the word anonymous. So you can use this way, which is the first few words, or you can use this way, which is anonymous. Just say it's anonymous. And again, when you do it that way, you're going to do it the exact same way as before as far as the name goes. This is the name, comma, and then the date. Only anonymous is not a person. Nobody we know. It's a person, but nobody we know of.